Welcome. Welcome to Murderpiece Theater. That's right, it's a new segment where I read to you from a new horror novel or comic, as in this case. This is a new comic from Boom Studios. It is called Cthulhu Tales. Of course, after the H.P. Lovecraft character. And the story I'm going to read to you is the first out of 3 that are in this book. And it's written by Steve Niles of 30 Days of Night fame. And it is called The Eyes of Madness. Bear with me, friend. What I am about to reveal to you requires patience and an open mind. You may think me as mad as the people of the town where I lived, but I assure you, once you have distilled the facts from the fantasy, you will know that my words are true and may even save your life one day. I have seen the fear. I am here to tell you that the world is not what it seems. My name is Father Martin Blair. I was and remain a man of faith. It is what I have faith in that has changed. I have lived my entire life in a small New England town called Mason. I tended a small flock of devoted followers, held Mass every Sunday. For all practical purposes, I was a happy man. Myself and all of the citizens of Mason were fine and content living under the watchful, loving eye of God. It was a good life. So good, in fact, that I, maybe, was a fool to ever believe it was real. It all began to fall apart when the man with the milky eyes came to town. His name was Samuel. He came to Mason in the fall of 1913. He was blind, and his eyes had a milky coating like mold growing over them. Being the town holy man, I greeted the awkward stranger with open arms and welcomed him into my flock. There were many unusual things about Samuel. For a blind man, he seemed to look about more than one would think. He did not speak often, but when he did, he would say the strangest things. Instead of God, he would say gods. And when I corrected him, he would shake his head and tell me that I did not know what the world truly was. Don't you mean God, Samuel? The single God that shines in the heaven above? I believed that once, but... And he would say no more. But I have never been one to quit easily, so I would always ask him, Would you like me to hear your confession? No, Father, I would not. One chilly night in October, I heard a frightful sound coming from the center of town. I rose from my bed and ran into the streets wearing only a robe, as did many citizens who heard the cries that night. And what we discovered was almost too horrible to bear. These were not your children anymore. They were disciples of the great old ones. Samuel was arrested and without trial sentenced to hang the next day, despite my appeal to the townsfolk. They wanted no trial. Samuel had been caught with the blood of children on his hands, and for that alone he should die. Nobody even stopped to consider that it was next to impossible for a blind man to kidnap and murder a dozen children in the middle of the night. I visited Samuel in his cell the night before he was to hang. You die tomorrow. Would you like me to hear your confession? Then he said, Yes, Father, I would. And then I must give you something. Go ahead, Samuel. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been many years since my last confession. Go on. I have sinned against my own people, Father. I have stared into the abyss, and I have seen things that no man should see. Samuel, no! It doesn't hurt, Father. Take these, Father, and cast them into the air when I die, and what you will see what I saw. You will see the worlds around us, and you will see the sight that destroyed my eyes. But most of all, Father, you will will see as I have seen all of the deceivers in our midst, all of those around us, like those damned children, are demons in disguise waiting to destroy us any way they can. That Sunday, I have seen things that no man should ever see. I learned things that were never meant to know. And I still tend to my flock, keeping a careful eye, as should you, dear reader. Look hard at the person sitting next to you. If you think you are looking at ancient evil, don't be too unsure. That is what I have faith in now. Evil is true and real and living all around us, and it must be stopped at all costs. The end. So, if you like that tale, which I think you should because I do, head out to your local comic book store and pick up Cthulhu Tales from Boom Studios. Also on the way, Zombie Tales, which also features Steve Niles. And that's it for Murderpiece Theater.